Good morning. Let's start the discussion today. Fine. To start with, the first topic that will take it is on Indo-Pak relation, cold peace between India and Pakistan. Okay, what? Cold peace, very unique term. Okay, because India and Pakistan were the same British India. They are partitioned as per the partition plan. And since both the country were partitioned, so there is relationship is very rarely good between the two, but from the beginning, so the relationship is not at all good. In recent years, there is now a certain cold peace between India and Pakistan. Okay, so it is the very new concept cold peace. Okay, so there is always a confrontation between the two countries, but right now, so some are saying it is a cold peace. India-Pakistan relation have entered a new age of minimalism. What is minimalism? So minimum contact between the two. That is the age of minimalism. Because since the Pulwama and the Uri attack in the Indian military camp by the Pakistan terrorists, so government of India decided to cut off all relationship with Pakistan. And government of India is trying its best to isolate it internationally. So we have very less contact with Pakistan. Okay, that is called the minimum contact. Okay, with Pakistan. Fine, that is the concept called minimalism. So since the take it as 2019, okay, till date, and prior to that there is surgical strike. From those days, so we have very less contact. Okay, so with Pakistan, there is very little bilateral contact today. Even fewer expectations of a bilateral breakthrough. Okay, what? Fewer expectations of a bilateral breakthrough. Okay, so bilateral breakthrough. Okay, what it mean? So chances of any improvement in bilateral relation is minimum. Fine, because so the relation has deteriorated to that an extent that okay, so possibility of improvement is very less. So that is called, so this fewer expectation of a bilateral breakthrough. So breakthrough means any improvement in the relation. So there is very rare chances, very less chance of any further improvement in the relation. Okay. So yet there is a certain cold peace between the traditional rivals, because cold peace means so since 2019 there is very less chance of any rivalry or breakthrough in a major scale. Fine, that is what. Okay, there is a certain cold peace between the traditional rivals on the line of control inside Kashmir and in the verbal exchanges between the two sides. Okay, so so since the Pulwama and Uri attack stage, fine. India is very rigid on its stand on this particular issue. Fine. Relation till now, India-Pakistan relations of the kind we have been used to over several decades now is characterized by intense engagement, high-value terror attack, Indian responses, a breakthrough of talk, and eventual resumption of talk, rinse and repeat. Fine. So India has tried its best in the past to resume the relationship, to go for better relation, improve the relationship. But Pakistan every time deceived India. Okay, so it has tapped on the back, and it has repeatedly tried to create instability in India, pose security threat to India, and that made India to make it stand very strong. Okay, in the last 3 years against Pakistan. Okay. Okay. Then, attempt for engagement. India has made a number of attempts to build normal neighborly relations with Pakistan. The External Affairs Ministers also took the initiative to propose a comprehensive bilateral dialogue in December 2015. Prior to that, we had lunch, the confidence building measures. We have lunch, that the people to people interaction. Fine. We have lunch, the comprehensive discussion. Okay, so covering all these issues. Okay, so but they are all taken as Indian weakness on the Pakistan side. Fine. Okay. Then first is trade and commerce. Okay. So bilateral trade, the total bilateral trade between India and Pakistan was USD 2329 million in 2021 amidst a condition of conflict. Fine. This has gone up to USD. Okay, up to USD 513 million in 2021-22 as per the Ministry of Commerce, with Indian exports outnumbering imports from Pakistan. That means the trade is in Indian favor. The trade balance is with India. Okay, during 2021-2022, amidst a high stage of tension, Indian sustained effort to isolate Pakistan, and Pakistan efforts to further means put or do harm to India, still the bilateral trade volume continues and it has seen an upward trend. Okay, the most favored nation status. So India has accorded this status to Pakistan in 1996. Okay, and decided recently to withdraw it after this surgical strike and the Urian Pathankot attack. But a Pakistan cabinet decision in 2011, okay, to reciprocate remains unimplemented. The Pakistan cabinet has agreed to extend the same most favored nation status in trade to India in a reciprocal manner, but it has not been, although it has been passed by the cabinet, but it remains unimplemented by the government. Okay, that shows that how the ruling party or the government in Pakistan, although it is showing something, but practically it is doing something different. Fine. Okay, so humanitarian in 2017, India suggested Pakistan to revive the mechanism of the Joint Judicial Committee, which looks into humanitarian issues of fishermen and prisoners in each other's custody. Fine, because while fishing in the high sea, so the fishermen venture into each other's territory and they are arrested by the coast guards of the respective countries. Fine, and so look into humanitarian issues and fishermen and prisoners in each other's country on humanitarian ground. So they are looking after. You see, but at times Pakistan is not that serious or not that careful about providing the minimum humanitarian support to Indians. Fine. You can take the example of the Kulbushan. Okay. So this is the mechanism. Okay, but Pakistan is not very much committed to this. Pakistan has not shown its commitment on this issue. Fine. Although India has sincerely tried to do this. Fine. Then cultural. The visit to religious shrines between India and Pakistan is governed by the bilateral protocol on visit to religious shrines signed between India and Pakistan. And you see, even during the high times of tension, the Kartarpur corridor was open to Indian pilgrimage. So the Kartarpur corridor, okay, in Pakistan was open, and the Kartarpur corridor was inaugurated by the Prime Minister Modi, allowing Indian Sikh pilgrims to visit Pakistan. Okay, the Kartarpur Sahib Gurudwara in Pakistan. Okay, because that is associated with Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Fine. So even in the time of tension and declining, deteriorating relationship, so both the sides agreed to continue this religious or to respect the religious sentiments of the people of the countries. Fine. The major issue between the both countries, India relations Pakistan, are the most complex of its ties with its neighbors. Okay. You see, with Pakistan, we have some issues, like you can say, you can broadly say them. So the issue of Kashmir, the issue of cross-border terrorism, issue of water dispute, issue of trade, the issue of Siachen, Sar Creek. Fine. So all these, and also nuclear weapons. All these are the issues between both the sides. Fine. And in recent period, so this issue has further been aggravated. Fine. India and Pakistan are the most complex of its ties with its neighbors. First and foremost at present is terrorism. So terrorism between India and Pakistan is popularly known as cross-border terrorism. Cross-border terrorism emanating from the territory under Pakistan's control remains a core concern in bilateral relations. Fine. Terrorism emanating from territory under Pakistan's control remains a core concern in bilateral relationship. Since losing the war with India face to face thrice, so two declared war and one undeclared war at Kargil. So Pakistan made its mind to create or pose threat to India through terrorism. Okay, and if you look at the background, the Pakistan sponsored terrorism started at Khalistan in Punjab in the 1980s, and since last 2 decades, so this has spread to Jammu Kashmir, and the Pakistan-based terrorist group like Jaish Mohammed, Taliban, Lashkar-e-Toiba, etc. So they have almost attacked at many places in India. Indian Parliament attack, Jammu Kashmir Assembly attack, so that Charare Sharif attack, okay, Akshardham Temple attack, Mumbai terror blast, attack on Indian Institute of Science, Hyderabad blast. So in almost all the terror attack, involvement of the attack on Indian military base at Uri and Pathankot. Fine. So everywhere the Pakistan based or Pakistan promoted terrorists are involved. So cross-border terrorism remain the major bone of contention between the two sides. Fine. So terror group like the you can say major terror group like the Lashkar-e-Toiba, the Jaish Mohammed, the Taliban, the Al Qaeda, the Indian Mujahideen. So all these, most of them are Pakistan based or Pakistan funded and Pakistan promoted and patronized also. This is the biggest threat to India, and India is always trying to convince Pakistan take concrete steps, visible steps against the terrorists, the terror organizations and the person who are patronizing terrorism and funding them. But Pakistan has not taken any tangible step as per India's evidence given. Even in that Mumbai terror attack, the Kasab case, we have submitted all documents, still it's remain like that. Fine. So this is the biggest bone of contention between the two sides. Then the Pulwama cross-border terror attack, the Pulwama and the Uri and the Pathankot, all these, okay, in a heinous and despicable act of cross-border terrorism, the convoy of Indian security forces in Pulwama in Jammu Kashmir were attacked in 2019, where 40 security persons were killed. Uri attack, Pathankot attack, Pulwama attack, all these manifest that how this Pakistan-based terrorist group, they are targeting Indians, security personnel, and only to create a pure psychosis in the mind of the people in India and also among the Indian security forces. Fine. On Jammu Kashmir, you know, Kashmir remained the bone of contention between the two countries since independence. Because as per the partition plan, okay, all the Muslim majority areas should go to Pakistan, all the Hindu majority should come to India. And Jammu Kashmir being a Muslim majority area, Pakistan has a dream to get it. But unfortunately, so the Maharaja Hari Singh of Kashmir, he decided not to join with Pakistan. And initially he was reluctant to join even with India and remain independent as per the British partition plan. The princely states were given the option either to join India or Pakistan or declare independence. And because the dream of Pakistan to take over Kashmir remain unfulfilled because of the decision by the Maharaja Hari Singh, the then ruler of Kashmir, so it started creating trouble in Kashmir by sending the travel invaders in the that Pakistan army supported them, and they started creating instability inside the territory of Maharaja Hari Singh. And Maharaja Hari Singh appealed for Indian help, and Indian army after the Maharaja Hari Singh signed the instrument of accession. What he signed? Government of India compelled him or almost convinced him to sign the instrument of accession. Instrument of accession. Fine. So it was signed between the Maharaja Hari Singh and the government of India, and Kashmir became a part of India, associated with India. And since that day, so Pakistan had the grudge against India that Kashmir, which is a Muslim majority area, how India has taken it over. And it told that in Kashmir, it is promoting the terrorists and advocating it as that they are the freedom fighters who want to liberate Kashmir from the Indian control. Okay, the relation between the two countries have remained strained for years now and took a turn for the worse in August 2019 when the Indian revoked the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. And Government of India in 2019 decided to revoke the special category status given to Jammu and Kashmir under Article 370. Okay, so abolition of Article 370. Okay, so which gives special status to Jammu Kashmir was revoked by the Indian Parliament, and that changed the situation for Pakistan, because it was it had no option left. Fine. Okay, so Pakistan started 29. Pakistan announced unilateral measures, including the downgrading of the diplomatic relations, suspension of bilateral trade, and review of the bilateral agreement with India, because India has abolished Article 370 and divided the state of, yeah. Okay. Okay, so that infuriated Pakistan, and as Pakistan very well came to, it is very much sure that government of India will right now be very proactive on the issue of Jammu Kashmir, and it will completely change the Pakistani aspiration. So government of Pakistan became reactive. Fine. It suspended all bilateral trade relations, downgrading diplomatic relations, and decided to review all bilateral agreements with India. And India also became India only to make it stand very rigid that unless and until Pakistan is not renouncing terrorism and taking tangible action against terrorists and terror promoters, so no relation with Pakistan. And India started isolating Pakistan internationally, and to some extent India was able to successfully do this, fine, at the international forum. Okay, then India has urged Pakistan to review its unilateral action in respect of relations with India, so that normal channel of diplomatic communications are preserved. But only demand by India was, so any relation between the two countries is possible only after Pakistan renounce violence. Okay, without renouncing violence, So coming back, okay. So India's revocation of the special status of Jammu Kashmir, the relation between the two countries have remained strained for years now, and took a turn for the worse in August 2019. India revoked the special status of Jammu and Kashmir after long years. So it's a very wise decision by India to bring the situation under control, and India is able to bring it under control at present. Pakistan stand in 2019. Pakistan announced unilateral measures, including the downgrade of economic relations, suspension of bilateral trade, and review of the bilateral agreement with India. India has urged Pakistan to review its unilateral action in respect of relations with India so that normal channel of diplomatic communication are preserved. But as Pakistan became rigid on this, so India decided to maintain its rigid stand. Okay, so Pakistan's ambitions and demands, it aims to change the status quo in Jammu Kashmir with a three-pronged strategy. Okay, what are the three-pronged strategy adopted by Pakistan since the country became independent? Violent destabilization of Kashmir while raising human rights concern in global forum. Fine. Human rights are violated in Kashmir by the security forces. This is being again and again highlighted in international forums by Pakistan. Okay, Indian security forces, Indian military, Indian government is not at all paying any respect to human rights of the common Kashmiri people. This is a false propaganda being done by Pakistan over and over, again and again, year after year at different international forums. Okay, including United Nations. Fine. Reopening the Kashmir question that India believe was settled after 1971 war. Okay, in 71 war, the Kashmir issue, the similar agreement was totally settled and it was agreed that any bilateral issue should be dealt bilateral. But Pakistan is trying to involve third parties, mediating of the third parties, highlighting or opening it in other forums. So similar agreement with the two sides has very clearly mentioned that any conflict, any dispute between the two sides are to be resolved by bilateral discussion. Fine. Then third one, leveraging global nuclear concern to force Indian concession on Kashmir. Fine. Ajib, so India has nuclear weapons, okay, and Pakistan has developed nuclear weapons because of the Indian threat, okay. So again and again Pakistan is threatening that use of nuclear weapons on India, okay, and through this it want to get some concern on Kashmir, but India is very rigid on this and making it stand further rigid in the recent time. Fine. So next one, so possible region cited for cold peace between India between the two nations. So historical legacy. The relationship is the historical history of missed opportunities, failed attempt at conflict resolution, political inability to resolve conflict, and the lack of political will on either side. Fine. So why? So history says that both the sides, especially more of Pakistan, so they are not serious. Okay, they have lost many opportunity to finalize the peace deal. Okay, so there are many attempts failed for conflict resolution. Okay, and there is political inability in Pakistan side. Even you see during the time of Benazir Bhutto, so a lot of development took place, but subsequently Benazir Bhutto changed her mind. Similar was the situation during Nawaz Sharif. Okay, so at a particular time he was much serious about resolving all the disputes, but subsequently the political compulsion, domestic political compulsion, compelled him to go for an anti-Indian stand for his own survival. Fine. Then hate and populism. For all the talk about conflict resolution, there is no easy way to resolve their complicated conflicts. Resolving their bilateral conflict resolution may get harder due to rising populism fueled by online hate. Fine. So because at present the social media is being used by Pakistan. Okay, the social media is being used by Pakistan to create hate, spread hate against India in the social media or globally, but that is being countered by India with its own strategy. Okay, so no conflict resolution till now. None of the key bilateral conflict like border or the territory, water dispute, nuclear weapon, cross-border terrorism, SAR Creek, Siachen, major of these issues, okay, have not, so there is no substantial progress on this, including, okay, Egypt in the Indus Water Treaty. So Indus Water Treaty 1960 divided the river of the Indus Basin. So there are 6 rivers, okay, in the Indus Basin there are 6 rivers: Indus, Chenab, and Jhelum, the west flowing, and Satluj, Ravi, and Beach. the east flowing. So these three are given to Pakistan and these three are given to India. As per the World Bank mediated Indus Water Treaty 1960. In 1960, so the World Bank mediated the treaty between India and Pakistan regarding the Indus water. And as per the agreement, so three rivers, the three ocean rivers like Indus, Chenab and Jhelum were given to Pakistan. And three east flowing rivers like Ravi, Satluj and Beach were given to India. But India has been given the permission or the right to use some part of the west flowing rivers for its own need. Okay, so that is, and when India in the recent time started some construction activity in these west flowing rivers to provide irrigation facility and power generation, so Pakistan opposed this. And fortunately, with again World Bank mediation, so this has been resolved and the dam height has been reduced as per the international by the World Bank mediation, and India also agreed to reduce the dam heights. Agreed on Pakistan demand, because as Pakistan take it as a threat, so India as a pacifist country decided to reduce the height of the dam. Fine. So the traditional logic. So the
subjective test active for HA, the given question are subjective type, answer will be pen and paper, send the answer sheet to VANIK-IAS. Stamp covered by 12 PM. And 10 टा test होची, काली 12 टा भितर समय मेल पर।
काली beginning रे अछि। आज beginning रे अछि।
काली दिन 12 टा भितर मेल पर पठे। एठी डिरेक्शन नै, क्वेश्चन नै, पिला आना सब नै, आपर ऑप्शन किछ नै। 10 into 10 20 into 5 এটা সেন্টি আছে আপনাদের সেটা 10 11 নম্বর কোশ্চেন আছে ঠিক আছে এটা কি মোবাইল বলি যে তখন পড়া আছে এটা সব কোশ্চেন এই ইনস্ট্রাকশন
সেটা করিবে সে কলা পরে তাଙ୍କର পঠাই দেবে আমি তোমার প্রিন্ট আউট কাढी তাଙ୍କୁ দেব মানে আর্থর जो প্রিন্ট আউট OAS রা আমি এটা লঞ্চ করଥିଲି OAS রা जो পিলা মানে দেলে এটি দেখা গলানি প্রিন্ট মানে जल अधा कथा देखाई पारे तो
पिला स्कैन करना ठीक है
सेटा तो पिला स्कैन प्रॉपर्ली लेखो सिखो स्कैन प्रॉपर्ली इट विल इजी गो आफ्टर गेटिंग द प्रिंट आउट सो प्रॉपर्ली स्कैन इट एंड सेंड इट टू all instruction they give you are requested to scan the copy carefully and send legible copy for verification
मोबाइल सारे को टेक्स्ट जोड़ा कोई टेक्स्ट
क्लास सारे fine so then comes defending Kashmir. There is now a certain confidence in India today that it does need not to talk Pakistan to ensure peace inside Kashmir, because since the Jammu and Kashmir are bifurcated to Union territory, created government of India took control over Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh region. So and for security started development, it was very well realized by India right now that there is no need to talk to Pakistan on Kashmir issue because it's an outsider. There is growing confidence in India about the capability to defend Kashmir against Pakistan aggression or a terror attack. Right now, after the government of India became strong, after taking a strong decision regarding Kashmir by bifurcating it, it became very sure that any challenge in Kashmir will be Indian government, Indian security forces will be able to handle it, whether it is terrorism or it is aggression, whatever it may be. So India will be able to do it. Fine. That is creating a worse threat perception or security challenge in Pakistan mind. Other geopolitical challenges, both sides today are preoccupied with other geopolitical challenges like Pakistan with Taliban-led Afghanistan and India with the aggressive China on its border. Fine. You know, since the Taliban took over in Afghanistan, the fear in the mind of Pakistan establishment has grown substantially because Taliban cannot be trusted. So the day is not far when Taliban may took control over Pakistan again. Looking at the political instability in the country, since the Imran Khan-led government was removed from office, okay, and the Shahbaz Sharif government took over, so there is somehow political instability going on in Pakistan, and this provides a scope to the Taliban militia to took over the administration in or the reign of power in Pakistan, because like Afghanistan, political instability in Pakistan may lead encourage Taliban to control. Fine. Although the Taliban originated from Pakistan. Fine. And for India, since last 2 to 3 years, the Chinese incursion, okay, in that Indian border, okay, so is a big concern, and India and China bilateral standoff since last 2 years is the largest in the the Sino-Indian War. In the post India-China war period, the military built up in the border in the last 2 years is massive. Okay, that is what, and government of India is trying to modernize defense forces. So China is trying to put the border on high alert. Fine, mobilizing the heavy armors to the border. Okay, occupying Indian territory, showing them in its own official map. Fine. So these border infiltrations, okay, or border incursion is a big challenge for India. So Pakistan is own challenge, India has its own challenge. But after so outside challenge, apart from these their own bilateral challenges, so they remain intact for the countries. Fine. We had so the frequent acknowledgement by both the countries that they have much to gain from trade and connectivity in economic area have taken a backseat to revival of tensions. The shadow of unresolved disputes and geopolitical consideration by both the sides. Although issues between Pakistan and India are long-standing, progress is also possible. Okay, although these issues remain unresolved since the independence of both the countries, but the possibility of finding solutions are also there, because they are not impossible issues, they are not too difficult issues. So slight compromise on both the sides can resolve many of the disputes, like the Kashmir, that like the Siachen issue, the Sarpit issue, okay, that the issue of water disputes, the trade disputes. These all can be resolved, because for that the comprehensive dialogue mechanism was launched between the two sides during Vajpayee's period, and Vajpayee launched the confidence building measures and himself took the Lahore bus trip to the Wagah border, fine, to build the relationship. But simultaneously, the Pakistan launched the attack in that in the same year, fine. What do you call this, Kargil intrusion? Okay, leaders on both the sides of the border need to develop a national consensus in support of the peace process and bring all stakeholders, including the core constituencies, media and opposition parties on board. Fine. So so both the sides of the border need to develop a national consensus, because if the people to people contact is developed and consensus, that is a consensus between the two sides, it will be easier on their part. Okay, and it will be resulting in lasting peace. Okay, by resolving all the disputes. With this, we can say that, so if both the people from both the sides, so they became close with each other, these politicians, okay, who are just making this issue live for their own survival, will be one day kick out of the situation. Fine. Then we'll go for the next topic on Mangrove Alliance for Climate. Okay, mangrove is a special type of vegetation. Okay, mangrove is a special type of vegetation. Okay, calling the integration of mangrove conservation with the reducing emission from deforestation and forest degradation programs for carbon sequestering, India joined the Mangrove Alliance for Climate at COP27 Egypt. Okay, but this, so what is the new alliance created? The alliance name is Mangrove Alliance for Climate. This shows the importance of mangrove in the ecosystem of the global ecosystem. India is among the first 5 countries to join the Mangrove Alliance for Climate at the 27th session of the Conference of Parties at Sharm el Sheikh, Egypt, that is going on at present. The other are Australia, Japan, Spain and Sri Lanka. Fine. Who else joined this alliance? Are the first 5 members: Australia, Japan, Spain, Sri Lanka and India. India joined the 5th member. The move is in line with the India's National Determined Contribution (NDCs). What? India's National Determined Contribution signed at the Paris Climate Agreement to create an additional carbon sink of 2.23 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalent through additional forest and tree cover by 2030. Fine. Because at the Paris Climate Conference, India agreed to reduce its carbon emission by 33% by 2030, right? And for that it must create what? Additional carbon sink. And what act as carbon sink? Forest only act as carbon sink. Tree and forest, they can only act as forest sink because they can absorb the carbons, right? So as they can absorb the carbons, so they are called as the carbon sink. Okay, and increasing any forest cover including the mangrove forest can result in additional carbon sink in the country, fine. Unfortunately, if you see in the last forest census, so there is an increase of mangrove forest in India. So this is very good news that the mangrove forest in India has been increasing over the years, and overall forest need to be improved, but substantial increase in mangrove forest is the most important positive news for India. Fine. Mangrove status. So mangrove are distributed in tropical and subtropical region of the world and are found in 123 countries. Like that, Sundarban mangroves, okay, like our Bhitarkanika mangroves in Odisha. Fine. According to the State of the World Mangrove Report 2022, from 2010 to 2020, the human-driven loss represent 62% of, you see, human-driven loss represents 62% of the total loss of over 600 square kilometer or 60,000 hectares of mangrove forest. Okay, so this is a negative news, but in this situation, India has shown an increase in mangrove forest cover. When globally the mangrove forest is being reduced, but in India the mangrove forests are on an increasing trend. Right. Global mangrove extent in 2022 was 147.359 square kilometers. South Asia comprises 6.4% of the total mangrove cover in the world. India accounts for over 50% of the total mangrove cover in South Asia. This is important. India accounts for over 50% of the total mangrove cover in South Asia. Okay, that means so Indian mangrove, okay, has its own importance. Okay, the most extensive area. Okay, the most extensive area of mangrove is found in Southeast Asia, which Indonesia alone comprising a fifth of the global trade total. Together, Indonesia, Brazil, Australia, Mexico, and Nigeria host almost half of the world's mangroves, according to the State of the World Mangrove Report. Mangrove forests are the forests which are on the marshy land, right? And they can grow in the saline water. And it is very difficult to create mangrove forest. Mangrove forests are auto-regenerated. Automatically they grow. But human intervention for its own economic gain has destroyed the mangrove forest to a considerable extent. Fine. At an preliminary scale, mangrove are ahead of the curve. Some 42% of the all world's remaining mangrove fall within protected area recognized by the IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature. IUCN stands for International Union for Conservation of Nature. According to the Forest Survey Report 2021 released in January 2022, mangrove cover in the country is 4,992 square kilometer, which is 0.15% of the country's total geographical area. An increase of 17 square kilometer mangrove cover has been observed as compared to the previous assessment in 2019. This is the most positive thing. So, mangrove forest, it's not possible to create. Government is trying to create new forest, but in case of mangrove forest, it is not possible to create new mangrove forest. Only it can be protected, and protection can lead to its growth, and that is possible in India because the recent forest survey has expressed that 17 square kilometer mangrove forest there is a growth of 17 square kilometer mangrove forest in the country. The top three states showing an increase of mangrove forest is Odisha, highest, Maharashtra and Karnataka. So Odisha mangrove forest is has increased since the last forest
census. This is very good news because Odisha's contribution in preserving the mangrove forest and increasing its extent is laudable. Fine. Importance of mangrove. Mangrove are among the most carbon rich forests in the tropics. They account for 3% of the carbon sequestration sequestrated by the world's tropical forest. So its importance. Why mangroves are so important? Okay, this tidal forest serves as a nursery ground for several organisms, protect coastal erosion, sequester carbons, and provide the livelihood for millions of people. Besides, it harbor an array of faunal elements in its habitat. Mangrove forest can absorb 4-5 times more carbon emissions than landed tropical forest. This is important. So, what the mangrove forest can absorb 4-5 times more carbon emission than the land tropical forest. 4-5 times more. See the importance. Creating new carbon sink from mangrove afforestation and reducing emission from mangrove deforestation are two feasible ways for countries to meet their NDC targets and achieve carbon neutrality. Fine. Mangrove can also act as a buffer for ocean acidification and act as a sink for microplastics. Okay, importance. Due to large amount of carbon stored in mangroves, it is crucial to conserve the current area in order to prevent potential CO2 emission. If the mangroves are destroyed, the carbons preserved in the mangroves will be released to the atmosphere. That may lead to more carbon emission to the atmosphere because the mangroves has absorbed a substantial amount of carbon. In case the mangroves are destroyed, those carbons means which have been stored in the mangroves, they will be released to the atmosphere, causing further problem. Right? So you have to be very careful while handling with the mangrove forest. Right? Mangrove are the economic foundation of many tropical coastal regions. To sustain the blue economy, it is imperative to ensure the sustainability of coastal habitats, particularly mangroves for tropical nations at the local, regional and international levels. Fine. They are the best option to fight against climate change. Consequences like sea level rise, increasing frequency of natural calamity like cyclone and storms, surges. Okay, so this can be checked by the mangrove forest. And India's role, India can contribute to the global knowledge base due to its extensive experience in mangrove restoration, studies on ecosystem valuation and carbon sequestration. So India has lot experience in this. This can be shared with the global community. Okay, one of the largest remaining area of mangrove in the world, the Sundarban, support an exceptional level of biodiversity in both the terrestrial and marine environment, including significant population of a range of flora and plants, species of wildlife, wide range of fauna, including the Bengal tiger, the Royal Bengal tiger, and other threatened species such as the estuarine crocodile and the Indian python. They are preserved in the Sundarban mangroves. There is significant increase observed in mangroves covering India in its Andaman region, Sundarban regions, and in the Gujarat region. Okay, and also in Odisha, the Bhitarkanika mangroves are very famous, and significantly in the last, as per the report of the last forest census, so there is increase in the forest area in the Bhitarkanika mangroves. That is a good news. Fine. Moving further. Okay, so the next news. It is about the mother tongue survey in India. This is important. Okay, the Ministry of Home Affairs has completed the mother tongue survey of India with field videography of the country's 576 languages. Mother tongue, Matrubhasha, as it is called. What is mother tongue survey of India? The mother tongue survey of India is a project that surveys the mother tongues which are written consistently across 2 and more census decades. It also documents the linguistic features of the selected languages. The National Informatics Centers and the National Film Development Corporation will be documenting and preserving the linguistic data of the survey mother tongues in audiovisual files. Fine. So what the survey has done, videographed speech data of mother tongue will also be uploaded on the National Informatics Center survey for archiving purposes. How many mother tongues does India have, and what is spoken, which is spoken the most? You see, this is important from the preliminary point of view. As per the analysis of the 2021 linguistic census data in 2018, more than 19,500. This is important. What? More than 19,500 languages or dialects are spoken in India as mother tongues. 19,500. So such a large number. According to the Register General and Census Commission of India, the category mother tongue is the designation provided by the respondent, but it need not be identical with the actual linguistic medium. After subjecting the 19,569 returns to linguistic scrutiny, edit and rationalization, they are grouped into 221 mother tongues. According to 21 linguistic census, Hindi the most widely spoken mother tongue with 52.8 crore people, or 43.6% of the population declaring it as their mother tongue. So Hindi is the most widely spoken mother tongue in the country, whereas 52.8 crore people, which is around 43.6% of the population, they speak in Hindi. Fine. And it is followed by Bengali. Okay. So the next highest is Bengali mother tongue for 9.7 crore individuals and accounting for 8% of the population. First is Hindi, second is Bengali. Where does the mother tongue feature in the education of children? The new education curriculum framework, as per the new education policy 2020, for the foundational stage of education launched by the education ministry recently, they has recommended that mother tongue should be the primary medium of instruction in mother tongue should be the primary medium of medium of instruction, especially for the primary schooling, has been a feature of education policy for years. The latest push for the use of mother tongue has come after the repeated policy articulations. As per the new education policy, mother tongue should be used as the medium of instruction. Fine. Up to which standard? So they should be using only mother tongue. The national curriculum framework, which deals with the preschool and class 1 and 2, emphasizes the virtue of the mother tongue as the primary medium of instructions. By the time children join preschool, they acquire significant competence in the home language because of their communication at home. Since children learn concepts most rapidly and deeply in their home languages, the primary medium of instruction would optimally be the child's home language or mother tongue, familiar language in the foundational stage. Okay. Then what is the status of the population census? The forthcoming decennial population census will be the 16th since the first exercise was conducted in 1872. It will be the 8th census since independence. Okay. The census was supposed to take place in 2021 but was postponed due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. To ensure efficient processing and quick release of data, the Home Ministry has adopted some new initiatives which includes digital data processing and the use of geospatial technology for in collecting information. According to the report, pre-census mapping activity like preparation and updation of the maps that show administrative units will be carried out. Census result will be disseminated via web-based interactive maps. Jurisdictional changes that occur in the country after the census 2011 till 2019 have been updated in the geo reference database, and more than 6 lakh maps have been prepared and uploaded for the census functionaries. So they will be making it that geotagging the informations, especially the house enumeration, the household census will be geotagged to make it more accurate using technology. Okay, so this is, and the next news is about India hosting the G20 summit. Fine. So G20 is an association of 19 countries, and the European Union as a member along with the participation of IMF and World Bank in its functioning. Fine. Or its sessions. Prime Minister Modi recently unveiled the logo, theme, and website of the India's 2020 presidency. The logo bears a lotus and the message of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, one future, each inscribed in the logo of the G20 summit to be hosted by India in 2023. India will assume the presidency of the powerful G20 grouping from the current chair, Indonesia, on 1st December and hold the post for 1 year till December 2022 to December 2023. This will be India's period as the chair of the G20. The G20 Leader Summit at the level of heads of state government is scheduled to be held in September 9 and 10th in New Delhi. So India will host the G20 Summit in 2023 and will be in chair for the entire 2023 period from 1st of December 2022 to the last of November 2023. Fine. Significance of the G20 logo. According to the PM, the logo is not just a symbol but a message and a resolve. The logo reflects our idea of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole earth is one family, because of which India has always believed in global harmony. Okay, the lotus flower symbolizes our Puranic heritage, our asta or belief, and Bauddhic sattva or intellectualism. So India is an intellectual country. India is a trustworthy country. Okay, India believe in moral principles. All these are reflected through the that logo. The G20 was formed in 1999 in the backdrop of the financial crisis of the late 1990 and hit East Asia and Southeast Asia in particular. Its aims was to secure global financial stability by involving middle income countries. Fine. So its prominent members are Australia, Brazil, China, France, Germany, India, Japan, Republic of Korea, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Turkey, the UK, USA, European Union, Spain invited as a permanent guest. Fine. So G20 includes G7 countries who are developed. It includes another 19 developed emerging economy. It includes 27 European Union countries. It also invite World Bank and IMF to sit in its meeting. It also invites Spain as a permanent guest. The G20 is the premier forum for international economic cooperation. Okay, representing around 85%. So look at the importance of this group. 85% of the global GDP. G20 accounts for 85% of the global GDP, over 75% of the global trade, about 2/3 of the world population. Okay, see the importance. 2/3 population, 75% of the global trade, and 85% of the global GDP. It is only by how many country? So 19 plus 27 European Union country. These are all G20. Okay. So it became 6. It became 46 plus Spain plus IMF and World Bank as a group. So they are invited to the meeting. So membership include 46. So they account for 85% of global GDP, 75% of global trade, and 2/3 of the world's population. Fine. They have demographic dividend, they have financial capability, they have technical superiority, they have the international ramification. All these manifest their importance. Okay, the G20 summit to be held in 2023 would be one of the highest profile international gathering to be hosted by India, because so many global leaders will be attending it, and this summit will be in physical mode, no virtual summit. The presidency of the G20 rotates every year among the members. So the G20 presidency revolves among the members each year. Fine. Okay. The During India's presidency, India, Indonesia, and Brazil will form the Troika. So that means the previous, the present, the previous, and the upcoming. Indonesia present chair, India to be the chair, Brazil the next one after India. This would be the first time when the Troika would consist of 3 developing country and emerging economy. How does the G20 work? G20 has no permanent secretariat. The agenda of the work are coordinated by representative of the G20 countries known as the Sherpas, okay, who work together with the finance ministers and governor of central banks. India has announced that the ex-Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant would be the G20 Sherpa after Piyush Goyal. Okay, so on the advice of the G20 finance minister, okay, G20 summit took place in 28 in Washington DC, US. In addition to summit, the Sherpa meeting that helps in negotiation, building consensus, and other events are also organized at regular interval. Fine. This is the G20. Then coming to the main answer writing, what are the main bottlenecks in upstream and downstream process of making of agricultural products in India? Okay, agriculture is the backbone of the Indian economy. Even with the growth of other sectors, agriculture still continue to play a dominant part in the overall economic scenario of India. Agricultural marketing is mainly a state entitlement, with the central government providing support under central sector schemes. The upstream process of agricultural marketing includes input to agriculture like seed, machinery, and technology, and the downstream process includes the food processing industry. However, there are still many challenges in upstream and downstream process of agricultural marketing. In the upstream process, lack of coverage of reform policy is one of the main hindrance in addressing the issue of agricultural marketing. For example, only some states have adopted the agricultural produce and livestock marketing, okay, act fully. So they are not, okay, others have not. The contract farming has been taken out of the agricultural produce marketing committee domain, citing conflict of interest, and this creates lacuna in the upstream as well as downstream process. Another downstream bottleneck is flawed MSP, okay, provisions which forces the private traders to buy produce at or above MSP or penalize for not doing so, which can kill the private market for agricultural produce. Right. There should be effective provision of procurement by the state and its agencies with the involvement of the local institutions like the primary agricultural credit society PACs, okay, and producer companies, okay, because right now government is promoting the FPOs, farmer producer organizations, fine, as its efforts sourcing activity and purchasing activity in upstream and downstream process, okay. Most disappointingly, Agricultural Produce and Livestock Marketing Promotion Act, okay, or APLMA, okay, 2017 ignores the vexed issue of the role of the RTH, okay. So commission agent of the they are called the commission agent, especially Punjab and Haryana, they are very active on the APMC and maintains them as central agent in the system. This affects the whole agricultural marketing because it will be under their control. However, with some reform like the removal of the entry barriers, involvement of other stakeholders, and electronic settlement of sell and process of marketing of agricultural products can be improved. So the farmer can directly know at what rate they are able to sell and what is the price to them and when they are going to get their price of their products in their own bank account. Okay, addressing the challenges of the agricultural market is complex, yet doable, as the doubling of the farmers' income cannot come without developing a thriving market of agriculture. Hence, it is high time that focus must shift from agricultural production to agricultural marketing. Right? See, So till date we are focusing on agricultural productivity, but without a proper marketing network of the agricultural products, the farmers are unable to get a proper remunerative price of their products, because almost all the producers fix the price of their product, but in case of agricultural products the price is fixed by the government through the minimum support price. Okay, because government control over the price, so it is the farmer who is normally at loss, so he is unable to get the best price for his product, because government declare the minimum support price. The CSCP under the Ministry of Agriculture, it declare the minimum support price, and the farmers are to sell the products at the mandis at the price decided by the government, not at the price what he decides. This is a very peculiar situation where the price of a product, the goods is produced by a particular person called the farmer, and he, although the producer is unable to fix the price, rather the price is fixed by the government. This is the most illogical concept in agricultural price mechanism, because the producer has no say in fixing the price of what he has produced by putting in his efforts and his capital. This is very deplorable. Fine, that needs to be reviewed in times to come to make farmer honorable, to make farmer remunerative, and to provide some sort of prestige to the farmer in Indian society. Fine. Then the next we'll take up the MCQs. Okay. So consider the following statement about the mangrove for the future initiative. Okay. It aims to promote international investment in coastal ecosystem conservation for sustainable development. It is co-chaired by IUCN and UNDP. Okay. Okay. And India is one of the founding members. So all the three are correct. So the answer will be D. Okay. All three options are correct. Answer will be D. Then coming to question number 2, a proper design and effective implementation of the UNRED plus program can significantly contribute to protection of the biodiversity, resilience of the forest ecosystem, and poverty reduction. All the three, 1, 2, 3 are correct. So, but okay. 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 So option. Okay. So 1, 2, 3 all are correct. Fine. Then question number 3. Which one of the following region of India has a combination of mangrove forest, evergreen forest, and the deciduous forest? The Andaman and Nicobar Island is a combination of both mangrove forest, evergreen forest, and deciduous forest. So option is, answer to this question is D, Andaman and Nicobar Island group. Fine. But the following statement: Linguistic Survey of India is a regular research activity in the countries in the 6th 5-year plan. Okay. So this is going on in the 6th 5-year plan. This is right. The above survey has been conducted by the Minister of Education now. So that linguistic survey is not done by the Minister of Education. Okay. So 2 is incorrect. So only option 1 is correct. So that is A. Then the following statement: 25th February is declared to be the International Mother Language Day by the UNICEF. Fine. So who declared it? UNICEF declared it as the Mother Tongue Day. This is incorrect. Okay. The demand that Bangla has to be one of the national language was raised in the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan. Okay. This is right. So option 2 is the right answer. So B is the right option. Right. Then 6. The following statement about mangrove in India: mangrove are more predominant along the eastern coast than on western coast. According to the latest forest survey of India, Odisha is the only state showing the increase in mangrove forest. Along with Odisha, other states have also seen improvement. Okay. So only 1 is correct, 2 is not correct, because Maharashtra has shown increase, other states have shown increase. Odisha is the largest Odisha is the state which has the largest growth of mangrove forest, roadside is the only state where mangrove has grown. Okay. Then coming to 7, one village salt flat often mentioned in the news related to which of the following? It is related to USA. Fine. Option is B. Then with reference to G20 Common Framework, consider the following statement. It is an initiative endorsed by the G20 together with the Paris Club. Fine. It is an initiative to support low-income country with sustainable debt. Fine. So both the options are correct. So answer will be 1 and 2 C. Then 9. The following statement regarding reference to G20. The president of G20 rotates every year among members. Okay. So it is not. So not rotates among all the members. Brazil will take over next presidency. Will take up India, not Brazil. Fine. Under the India's presidency, for the first time, Troika. So Troika, the previous one, the present one, and the future one, considered the Troika. Okay. So this is not first time. So this is being done earlier also. So only 2 options is right. So it is okay. So none of these are right. So all 3 are incorrect. Then coming to question number 10. With reference to DG Yatra, consider the following statement. The DG Yatra is a biometric enabled seamless travel experience based on the facial recognition technology. Fine, this is right. Then UIDAI will be the pan-India authority and the custodian of the passenger ID validation process. No, UIDAI cannot keep it. Okay, so only one is correct. That is, the option is given in A. So students, keep on watching our current affair discussion regularly to enrich on the content, on the question, and also on the MCQs. Thank you for watching. Thanks a lot.